with a unique character. Get one person with a unique character. For example, I don't know, in the qualitative guys, I might miss this. We do case studies when you're studying unique things. For example, have you ever heard of this story of a child who was born in Kawempe Hospital and started talking after one day?
No.
Unique, those unique things, you know, like you give birth to a child, but there is something, a child is supposed to undergo a certain milestones. But this case, you find that this child is not like other children.
What
So
did
this
the
child
child
can
say,
become
sir?
unique. We have midwives in the group from Gawefe, they will tell us. So in this case, you will you find that there is something that is unique about a certain population. For example, in Uganda, we have the Batwa. The Batwa have their unique way of life. You know? So you can go and study the Batwa as a case, group of people with a unique character. So you go and study these people as a group, so that the Batwa become your case. You may maybe work in a hospital. Let us say infant mortality. Mitiana and Mubende, very high infant mortality. So the question is, why is it Mitiana? Of all the interventions, why is the infant mortality very high in Mitiana? Yet they have one of the very, very qualified people, they have everything. So you can take a hospital as your case, so you go and study that one hospital and you start studying one aspect that is unique, very, very unique to that particular place. If it is individuals, you study that individual with that unique kind of a character. So case studies, and you can either use the conceptual framework, that means that you have a set of variables that you're looking out for, or you can just have an interview guide. Now, case studies can also become like case series. You interview people in intervals. You get this person, you know, in my village, there is this guy I was talking to. This guy is a thief, a perennial thief, you know, and he's known all over as a thief. And so one day I was trying, and he has a son who is also a dangerous thief. This boy can pass through a ventilator and come and put you down on your bed and carry your mattress. So one time I met this guy, and eventually he had started with one of his brothers, and was paying school fees for that brother. And so we started, the story was telling me that he was just stealing people's cows to sell for educating the brother. So I was asking him, man, how do you have such a big talent in stealing? You know? Then the guy was telling me his ordeal, how he became a thief, you know, and how he has benefited a lot from being a thief, how people hire him, you know. And people hire him to go and punish other people, like you want to, so and so is in bad terms with you and you want to punish him, go steal all his cows. So people hire him to do that work. And now he has mastered the art. So he told me, you know, we discussed a lot about the places that he always goes to, because he doesn't steal from our society, but he goes to steal like 100 kilometers away, like he's from Kampala, he goes to steal from Masaka, or he goes to Mbarara, you know, and he has a network of thieves in the country, such that there is money. He told me that they have the money which is reserve money, that when one of their colleagues is arrested, they go and withdraw that money. If they mean getting 500 million to give an RDC, they go and look for that money and bribe everybody in the chain of command of police and make sure that their colleague is released as soon as possible before he releases the information. So his work is to coordinate that. So they have a mechanism. They have a system of, it's like a system of thieves. There's somebody in charge of bail. He knows how to bail out people from police. And so whenever there's an issue that occurs, he's like a lawyer. That person goes to bail that person. If there is somewhere of some issues. So I talked to this guy and I wanted to know more about this person. So when I talked to him after some time, I had to go back and talk to this guy. Then I understand that this guy finally has a mental issue. From the psychiatric point of view. Yeah, the mental issue. So you may want to understand why certain things happen to individuals, such that you can get a conclusion afterwards. If you want to know, you see, in the family there are these two people who were born. Why is the other one so quarrelsome? And so you want to take your time to study this quarrelsome person, and know what exactly is influencing their character. Is it an environmental factor? Is it a genetic factor? Is it witchcraft? Or being done on this person and the like. So case studies done on single or individuals, one individual or a group of individuals with a unique character to identify certain variables that influence their character.
Excuse me.
Okay. Yes, please. What? I can't hear you. Is that Lubega?
Maybe briefly to how to.
You don't have network. Now you're being gone off. Either you type in the chat.
Yes, I was saying somebody called on my phone. I wanted to have a clue on the conceptual framework. How is it designed?
What is the conceptual framework? It is a diagrammatic illustration of the relationship between variables. Diagrammatic illustration of the relationship between variables. You want to illustrate how independent variables relate to a dependent variable. And I think that we will look at this. We will look at this at a certain level. I will take you practically on how to make a conceptual framework. Please remind me before we finish the course unit.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So can we have one more group to discuss through, and then ready? Okay, yeah, you can go on.
Group 6 members, are you there?
We are on.
Kindly start sharing your work. Can start presenting.
Oh, fine. Thank you so much, class. This is group 6, and our topic was on literature review. So I'll be taking the class through what you're going to cover on this topic. Before that, we are 4. There's Tusime Kenneth, Komihangi Christine, and Bosco Natsula as well as one of the team members. So the topic will cover the definition on what is literature review. We shall look at the steps and the stages involved in literature review, information sources, in literature review, literature, citation and referencing. I shall look at organization of the literature review and tips on conducting literature review. This is part of the work that is going to be covered here. Yeah, you can take the next page. Literature review we defined as that it says a survey of scholarly sources on a specific topic. It provides an overview of current knowledge, allowing you to identify relevant theories, methods, and gaps in the existing research. Just like we said, it's a survey of scholarly sources on specific topics. Like you find on each particular topic, people have written very many things on them. So for you now, you review all those, most of those articles, and so that you come up with something of your own. That is basically what literature review is. So this involves finding relevant publications, books, and and other things. And then that one is done. Please, yeah, the next one, thank you. Then, so what do you say? What is the purpose of literature review? Why do we have to study literature review? So when you write a thesis or a dissertation or a research paper, you will have to conduct a literature review to situate your research within existing knowledge. So the review will give you a chance to want to demonstrate your familiarity with the topic and scholarly context, because you have to do a topic that you're actually familiar with. So when you do literature review, it will give you to show that you actually know that particular topic. To increase the base of knowledge on the study subject, as you write about something, you should have actually good knowledge on it. So literature review will give you that opportunity to study, to increase your knowledge on that particular topic, to identify the current state of research in the field of study and identify trends. It also helps you to identify important works and authors in that area. As you're studying about that topic particularly, you're going to look at that work done by very many authors. So you're able to expand your knowledge based on that. Then to identify gaps on literature and areas that need further inquiry. Of course, as you do literature review, you're also identifying gaps in those works. So it helps you to put you as right to critique work that has been done, as to discern gaps. That one is almost similar to the gaps identified. Then to demonstrate the command and understanding of your field study. I also help to provide background and justification for the research undertaken. Then just to give you a research conceptual framework, of course, this is one of the key elements in research. So the literature review will give you your research a good conceptual framework. Then to provide literature to compare your findings with the people that have done the same. So as you do literature review on your work, you'll be able to compare what you have done with other people as well. We also have, because as you do literature review, there are steps that you need to follow. Okay, so basically you realize that here we look at 5 steps, other sources we're saying 3, but they will almost come to something similar. So the 5 steps that we identified, one is to search. I mean, of course, you're going to look for the relevant literature that is on that topic you're doing. You're going to evaluate your sources. You're going to identify themes, debates, and the gaps the literature review, you outline the structure, and from this point, I think we have 3 more members. We have tried to expound on this, so someone can pick up. One of my colleagues is going to pick up from here and continue. Thank you. Is Kenneth there? Ken or Christine or Boso can pick up from here and we continue. Thank you.
Hello,
Chris,
this is
yes, please.
yes,
Come in.
Christine. I'm going to continue with the steps involved in literature review. So there are 5, as he has said. One is to search for relevant literature. 2 is to evaluate resources, to identify themes and debates and gaps, outline the structure, then to write the review. Another slide. So in step 1, we are searching for literature review, and it is defined as a topic for the review related to the search problems and questions. And here we have the sources of information, and these sources include textbooks, journals, internet, Google Scholars, other sources, dissertations, encyclopedia, and several other reports, and open courseware. So, step 2, we have to evaluate and select the sources. You probably won't be able to read absolutely everything that has been written for the topic. You will have to evaluate which sources are most relevant to your questions. When you are evaluating the sources, you have to look for the very important topics that will be included in your literature review. For each publication, one has to ask yourself, what question or problem is the author addressing? What are the concepts and how are they defined? What are the key theories, models, and methods? Does the research use established framework or make an innovative approach? What are the results and the conclusions of the study? What are the publications related to other literature in the field? Does it confirm or add or challenge established knowledge? How does the publication contribute to your understanding of the topic? What are its key insights and arguments? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the research? So when you are evaluating the literature review and selecting the sources, you have to ask yourself all these questions. Go on, please. There. Hello.
Please go on.
Yes,
on.
Christine, we on the next slide, please.
Yes, next slide. This step 3, you have to identify the themes, debates, and gaps. To begin organizing your literature reviews, argument, and structure, one needs to understand the connections and relationships between the sources you're reading, based on reading and notes you can look for. Then the trends and patterns in theory, method, and results. Do certain approaches become more or less popular over time? Themes, what questions or concepts reoccur across the literature? Debates, conflicts, and contradictions, where you have to look for where sources disagree. Then we have pivotal publications. Are there any influential theories or studies that change the direction of the field? Then gaps, what is missing from the literature? Are there weaknesses that need to be addressed? This step will help one to structure the literature review, and if applicable, one has to show our own research will contribute the existing knowledge. So if there are gaps, they have to be filled in the literature review. Then step 4. Step 4. We have to review the structure. Literature review, you have to review the literature review structure, outline of the literature review. There are various approaches to organize the literature review. One should, before you start writing, depending on the length of the literature review, one has to combine several of these strategies. For example, the overall structure might be discussed in chronologically, meaning that all the information must be grouped together so that according to the publication date, they should be in the order of the publication date. Then the chronological order, the simplest approach is to approach the development of the topic over time. However, if one chooses the strategy, be careful to avoid slow playlisting and summarizing the sources in order. Try to analyze patterns, turning points, and key debates that have been shaped and direction of the field. Give an interpretation of the pattern developments occurred. That is chronological order. Subtopic of each vital time period must be grouped in their order. Then thematic, if you have found some recurring central themes, you can organize your literature review into subsections that address different aspects of the topic. For example, if one is reviewing literature review about inequalities in migrant health outreaches, outcome key Yes, please scroll. Yes, you have to use a variety of research methods. You might want to compare the results and conclusions that emerge from different approaches. For example, look at what results have been emerged in qualitative versus quantitative research. Discuss how the topic has been approached by empirical versus theoretical scholarships, and divide the literature into sociologically, historical, and cultural sources. So in thematic, it have to use some topics based on factors that relate to the themes or the issue. Then we have theoretical. A literature review is often in foundation of a theoretical framework. One can use it to discuss various theories, models, and definitions of the key concepts. You might agree for the relevance of the specific theoretical approaches or combine various theoretical concepts, create a framework